monsters out there, leaking in here, all sinking and no power? When are you thinking we are in trouble?
Shut your fucking mouth! What? Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic. Before the Dark Tower, before the Empire.
If you remain the power of the dark side,
you may fire when ready.
I'll show you the dark side. May it be honored if you will join us.
Don't worry, Arthur. We're going.
That's enough, my son. You must outlive what you have learned.
I am a Jedi, like my father.
Talking with you,
Welcome back to Blah Wars. How you doing, Jude?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Yeah,
lovely.
You all right?
I'm fantastic.
How's your morning be?
It's been fine, man. I've got a cup of tea. I am well and healthy and happy.
I am off my tits in coffee, man. Just like next level caffeine. Been injecting caffeine into my eyeballs, drinking it. You name it.
Yeah.
We're doing an early morning. Well, it was meant to be an early morning show. It's now 10 to 11. But
it's all right.
You know.
I met Jude's family the other weekend, and they were rather lovely.
Oh, my family. Yeah, you did.
I met your brother, who looks and behaves exactly like you and talks exactly like you.
Well, he behaves and talks like me, but
yeah, he has your mannerisms.
He's got hair for a start.
He does look similar. He does look similar to you.
Yeah,
but not in terms of hairstyle.
Well, he's got a style.
His mannerisms and behaviour and his style.
Listen to that.
He's got style.
Pure slap, mate. Pure slap.
They were lovely. Your dad's great, and your mum's sweet. I tried to get your dad. I said, "What do you want for a drink? Can I get you a drink or whatever? Guinness." Went up to the bar. Got any Guinness? No. Got any stout? No.
Right.
We're in the shittest pub. I mean, they've got nothing. They had nothing on. I went in this pub. Oh, come here. It's a good pub. Went into this pub with you and your family. No, nothing on draft.
Right. It wasn't a pub though, was it? It was a restaurant. It was a restaurant, and they had
it was a pub.
Was it? Oh,
they had they only had one type of beer behind the counter, and it was in bottles.
What was it? The Cotswold beer.
Cotswold beer.
Yeah.
That's right. And I asked them, "Have you got anything at all like stout?" And they gave me like Old Speckled Hen or something. That's the closest thing we've got to Guinness. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, then your mum wanted apple ties.
Yeah, didn't have that.
The best they could do was apple juice. So, oh god, it was funny. It was awkward and funny.
But they loved you, man. Afterwards, they were like, "Oh man, Johnny's well cool. We love him." Blah 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 blah. Literally, couldn't give you enough praise, mate. So,
well, we want to get down to your house. We've been saying about this.
We want to
go down to your parents' house.
This was the point of you meeting them, I guess, is just to kind of softly approach the fact that we need to get down to my house and raid the attic for.
Do an episode in your attic, dig out all your Star Wars stuff, and we'll just go through it all as quickly as we can in 40 minutes or so. It'll be fun. It'll be great. Maybe we'll do a video.
Well, the other thing is, I don't know what's in the boxes really. I've got an inkling, but it'd be
could
kind
find
of like
a couple of old wank mags and things.
Well, yeah, maybe, but
a very glued together picture of Natalie Portman or something.
Terance
Stamp's been here.
Terance Stamp. He's just in the corner of the attic, just like some wit chained up to the wall, just surrounded by Natalie Portman figures. Episode 1 of Phantom Menace, brilliant.
Do you reckon Terance Stamp ever bought a Natalie Portman like doll, like a Barbie doll of Natalie Portman, and looked up the skirt and all that?
I don't want to say anything. I'm not saying anything. I don't want to get sued by Stamp. Stamp's got nothing on me.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a show coming up in the future. We've got a few ideas of shows, haven't we, mate?
Yeah, we have. I want to keep them under my hat for now.
Right.
We've got some big plans as well, haven't we, for next year? So
big plans, actually.
We've got some big plans, but we keep them under our hat for now, I think.
I'd say we're going global with this, but we're already global. We've got listeners in Australia, America, Middle East, you name it.
The show's going to get better. Yeah, the show's just going to get better, I think, and we're gonna try and up the quality of it as well.
Yeah, we're actually going to plan a few things, and we're going to put some thinking behind it, because at the minute we just rabbit and we don't know what's going to come out of our mouths. But
it's true. We do kind of get together and throw stuff in. Mate, I've been watching Carrie Fisher in a British sitcom called Catastrophe. Have you heard of Catastrophe?
yeah, I've watched a few episodes. She plays the mum of the guy, the American guy.
So the Catastrophe, if you're not aware, is it's a British sitcom. The two stars of which are not British. One of them's Irish, one of them's American. So the girl is she's like a 40-something woman called Sharon, played by the comedian Sharon Horgan. And she has like a one-night stand with a guy called Rob, played by Rob Delaney. She gets pregnant, and then the two of them decide to stay together for the sake of this baby.
Yeah.
And they gradually, over the time, begin to fall in love or whatever. And it's a really amazingly written romantic comedy with like the fighting in it, the actual arguments that happen in relationships. It is so realistic and honest. The depictions of it, it's as if people have been following us around and
following you around. So if you want an idea of what John's relationship is like with his girlfriend, just watch that show.
Yeah, watch that show.
Yeah.
But anyway, Carrie Fisher plays his mother-in-law. Oh, sorry, the mother-in-law. She plays Rob's mum.
She's quite good in that.
And she's incredible at it. She's foul-mouthed. She's funny. She's witty. She's even got that little dog of hers in it, with the droopy,
she's
floppy
playing
tongue.
herself, really, to be honest. Carrie.
Yeah, she is.
So I only saw a few episodes of the first series, and I know there's a second series.
There's a third now as well.
Is there? But how do they write Carrie out of it?
Right, so she's in the final episode of the third series. So she's actually they literally finished filming with her days before she died.
Oh, really?
I think she was on her way back. She was on her way back to the States after filming. When she was killed, well, when she was not killed,
well, she wasn't killed.
She had a heart attack, didn't she, on a plane? Yeah. So they haven't written or released a fourth series yet. So that will obviously deal with the character's death. So it's just but do check it out. If you're in America, you can get hold of it on Amazon, I believe. I'm told, reliably informed. And if you're in the UK, you can probably find it on Sky, I think, or just have a look online. See what you can find it on. How did you see it?
Mate, just flicking through TV.
All right, cool.
And then...
So it's out there. Look for it. It's called Catastrophe. 3 episodes of series, 3 series.
I don't flick through TV anymore, man. It's just Netflix for me.
I very rarely do. Netflix. I did check out F is a Family that you recommended for me a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
Bill Burr. You didn't tell me Bill Burr was in it, and I like Bill Burr, so
it's good.
He's a good American stand-up. He's very he has like 2 personalities. He's like extremely conservative and also extremely liberal.
Yeah.
And he sort of jumps. He's like split personality.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite funny that someone can do that.
I'm sorry. The
great.
best thing on Netflix is Rick and Morty. Have you seen that?
I've never. Yeah, I've seen it.
Man,
I've never
right
really properly.
It's like
I know it should be, but I don't really sort of sit down in front of it. So I will put more time in and try and watch more Rick and Morty when I've finished F is for Family. Okay.
Treat yourself.
I'm liking F is for Family.
F is for Family is great.
It feels like
it's got Laura
Family
Dern
Guy.
Laura Dern is the wife.
Yes, I did recognise her voice. Yeah,
but she's the whole show, like you say, it's just real. It feels like a cartoon for real life.
Well, yeah, it's like it reminds me a lot of. It's got a lot of the detail of a show like King of the Hill.
Yeah,
with the kind of dysfunctional qualities of Family Guy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
But it's more raw. I mean, the Family Guy's just like crazy, man. He's like Peter Griffin drinking.
Yeah, and then one minute he's like in a helicopter, and 1 minute,
punching a chicken
like a horse.
and all this sort of
punching a chicken.
So it's kind of more grounded. Shit. It's more grounded in realities and sort of depression, really. But it's quite, equally, the comedy comes through the true nature of the realities they're talking about. Anyway, Star Wars. That's what the people.
Star Wars. Yeah, I was going to say we're waffling on about everything but. So, the big news has been the TV spot and the international trailer since we last did a podcast, right?
The TV spot featuring Luke Skywalker on the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, isn't it a beautiful shot? I mean, I really hope this stuff actually does make it into the film, but it's really awesome to see Luke standing in that cockpit.
It's a next level shot. It's not quite...
That really excited me, seeing that.
Do you know what? People say it's not as good as Chewie, We're Home, but I think it is. I think it's better. I like it. It's less cheesy, and it's got gravitas, and there's like the lighting's beautiful, and I like how the Falcon turns itself on just as, not like that, but turns itself on because of his presence in the room.
Well, isn't that how it works, though? If you walk into, it's like those lights where you walk into the toilet and it's dark, and then all of a sudden the lights come on.
Yeah, but that's not light. It's like the whole engine just turns on. And I wonder whether he just flicked the switch with the Force. I mean, it goes back to another episode where we were talking about there's no locks in space, so that's how easy it is to just jump in. But there was something that annoyed us. No keys. It was something that annoyed us with it. If you look at the original cockpit back in A New Hope, and it's that shot where they're flying up towards the Death Star. That's no moon, and you've got Kenobi, you've got Luke, Han, Chewie.
Yeah,
there's a white strip, isn't there? That light strip at the back.
Yeah, there's a white strip that goes all the way around the cockpit,
and then
it's like a dado rail.
It's a picture rail in the Falcon. But in 1977, they didn't align that, and it's all skew and wonky, and it's really it's naff because someone put up was it you? You put up a comparison of that versus.
I showed you a comparison of it, and I didn't put it on Instagram.
I couldn't believe it. It was quite a considerable difference in terms of the details of the Falcon UI. But yeah, lovely shot. Really nice shot.
Yeah, beautiful.
Anything else in that trailer?
There was a couple of extra scenes of Rey and whatever, and I noticed that the what else did I see in that trailer? There's a shot of like Rey in the rain with a lightsaber, and it's quite obviously been reversed.
Yeah, so she's not striking down towards Luke. She's
she's actually putting her lightsaber down.
Do you think that's the same scene?
Relax.
Do you think that's the same scene?
I don't really know. I don't know because they're in a cave, right? So why is it raining? That's what I want to know. So it's I think it's these trailers are designed to mislead, and scenes that are completely unrelated will be cut together as if to portray a moment from the film, which may not actually happen. We've seen it so many times before, especially in Rogue One trailer, and
well, that was ridiculous. That was a whole.
So I really wouldn't read too much into it.
Yeah,
it's just a load of bullshit.
Hopefully, it's going to be a great film. Talking of films, Solo.
Yeah,
80% of it has been reshot.
It's been,
which isn't just reshoots; it's a new film. 80% of the film is new film footage.
I mean, but that was right. That was like reshot in the period where Rob took over.
Yeah.
Ron Howard took over. So,
but they'd nearly completed the film at that point.
Yeah,
it's mad. It's not just reshoots.
They've been filming for quite a while, and then they had that big hullabaloo, got rid of their previous directors.
There's so much footage out there that they probably were either used in other films or never see the light of day. It must have been considerably bad.
I bet we'll never get our hands on it either, like we've never got our hands on the Rogue One stuff.
Oh, mate,
which annoys me
like
to
30
no end.
years down the line. Be like
I very much doubt it.
You reckon?
I really...
Or like a museum piece down, 30 years down the line.
I don't know. I just don't think that the Star Wars films, Lucasfilm, I don't think they're that open about like letting the public have unused stuff. They seem really kind of closed off.
Yeah.
Whereas, I don't know. Like, it's not like the Blade Runner situation. You know how there's like 5 different cuts of the film Blade Runner, and there was disputes originally. So the film was originally released it went over budget, and the investors in the film took over the project, fired Ridley Scott, and basically released the film, their cut of it. And then years later, Ridley Scott did his version. Yeah. He still wasn't happy with it. So there'll never be that with Star Wars. I don't think you're never going to have a Star Wars movie where there's 5 different versions of the same film. Or
they want it clean cut.
Fiasco, yeah. There's now a 3-hour version of Superman available. It's just been released.
What, the
original?
This is a
1978. Yeah. 3-hour cut. Yeah, in HD. Blimey. That you can get your hands on. Apparently, it's a masterpiece. Apparently, but then that film is really, really good anyway. But 3-hour version, I'd happily watch that.
I love those. I love those old Superman films.
I remember watching one with some friends once. We were all very high and drunk, and this is my teens. We decided we'd watch the Superman movies, and we were just all watching it like absolutely amazed because we were, quite drunk and high, I suppose. And the bit when Superman lays across a railway track and the train goes over him, just my friend Tom just exclaimed, "Oh my God, he's so super!" And he's like nearly in tears. He's got tears of wonder.
He's got some description powers right there, man. He's a wordsmith.
Yeah. He just couldn't get over how super Superman was, like what he was able to do. That film is pretty amazing. I can't wait for you to show that to Jesse. It's gonna be
mate. I love the subsequent Superman films that have come out since those ones have just all been pony. All pants.
Do you like the Superman 3 with with Richard Pryor and the really scary bit at the end where the woman gets dragged into a computer?
Yeah.
That scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I'll tell you what's rubbish. I'll tell you what is
Superman
rubbish.
4.
Yeah, what's that about? What is it, Nuclear?
Do you know why? Do you know why that one looks so bad?
Go on.
Because to save money, they didn't shoot it in America. They decided, where can we shoot this movie to make it as cheaply as possible? Where can we recreate New York? Milton Keynes.
No,
so they went to Milton Keynes. Yes, they did, right? The whole movie is shot in Milton Keynes on location.
For goodness sake.
There's one of it's like this insurance office. This will double up for the Daily Planet office, which is like a skyscraper in the other movies.
Oh, it's so
it's
bad.
like a 2-floor. Yeah, in the reflection of all the glass, you can see that it's in Milton Keynes, like city centre, and you can see all sorts of just little civic offices and whatever in the background. And the scene in the museum where they go and snip a bit of Superman's hair, that's actually a leisure centre. They just redecorate it and stuff. So there's a documentary coming out, someone on YouTube called Oliver Harper. He's great, by the way, follow him. He is making a little documentary where he's going to go and revisit all of the scenes, all the locations from Superman 4. It's going to be fascinating. So check it out.
Okay, I will. Talking of going to locations, we've still got to go and see the few Star Wars locations that dotted around us, pretty near to us.
Yeah. We've got a couple, haven't we?
Well, slap bang in the middle between where I live and where you live is where all the films are being shot. Literally slap bang. It's an hour away from me, an hour away from you. It's mad.
Yeah.
You just think you drive
I'd love to
past
sneak
that.
over the wall at like Pinewood, though, and have a wander around on one of their sets when the next one's being made.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Those
you just
cheeky
drive
guys
past
did.
it and it's all there being made. You think the scenes and the sets and the costumes that are just in that building as you drive past. It's madness, really.
We'd love to do some field trips, Star Wars field trips, and record on location some special episodes.
Yeah, man.
And I honestly really think we'll be able to do that in 2018. So
next year's going to be good.
Let's hope we're both alive to enjoy it.
Oh, of course, man.
We don't die of a heart attack when we go and see The Last Jedi. Or spunk ourselves to death.
Yeah, you will. But I'll be honest with you, mate.
Yes.
It's only 37 days left.
I think it's a lot less than that, isn't it?
No.
I don't really know. I haven't got like a countdown going here.
But Last Jedi countdown. Right, we've got 36 days. There's only a day out.
Okay.
12 hours,
It just seems to be going slower than it should be.
Oh, hang on. No, we haven't. We've got 35 days because it comes out on the 14th. So,
yeah. Amazing, man.
Yeah. To our listeners out there, I know you're out there and I know you listen. There's definitely two or 3 listeners that are constant. That's an exaggeration. There's quite a few hundred. Is there anything you want us to talk about?
Exaggeration.
Is there anything you want us to talk about on the show? Any subject? Any I don't know, character, theory? Just whatever it is. Tweet us at Blowers or Instagram us at Blowers. Just let us know. Get involved with the conversation, and we'll give you a shout out. We'll open it up. We'll talk about any subjects, and I'm sure it'll be a really good show. We've got
someone did get in touch with us. One of our listeners, a regular listener called Matt, has been in touch. He's given me a list of amazing Star Wars trivia, and he wondered if I wanted to reel any of this off. He wanted to know if I knew any of it. Now, some of it I did know, some of it I didn't know.
Just testing you from a distance. How much of a fan are you?
Wanted to share some amazing Star Wars trivia he found out. Do you want me to read these off? Because some of these are really amazingly interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when Luke and Han are disguised as stormtroopers, Luke says, "I can't see a thing in this helmet. This wasn't in the script. Mark Hamill couldn't see, and he thought the scene had finished."
Really? That's amazing.
Apparently. That's an amazing thing, yeah? Before filming could begin in Tunisia, the screenplay had to be read by Tunisian officials to make sure the script wasn't an insult to the Muslim faith. So they had to sort of run it by the top Muslim guys out there.
Brilliant.
Lucas was frustrated by the British film crew as they would stop every day for their afternoon tea. That sounds a bit tripe.
That sounds nonsense to me. That sounds like nonsense to me. We don't have afternoon tea. Well, as in scones or scones and a cup of tea. Yeah. We don't do this. This is the trouble.
We don't. We just have a tea break. I think that's just normal. I think in all filming, whether you're in the UK or you're in or in America, you have to stop for a break. It's like the legal requirement of a workplace.
Yeah, but also, but come on, man! We're always whacking the kettle on and having a coffee or whatever it is. But mate, listen, the amount of American people, and I say American. They think we're so stereotypical in the way we eat crumpets, always eating scones, having cups of tea.
I'm literally sat here covered in butter from where it's dripped all over out of my crumpets, all down my top.
I can see you've
got it all over my chin
in honey, and you've kind of scribbled Rita across your chest. So it's
exactly.
It's that sort of. It's just weird. It's a weird take on.
I heard that there are
British.
There are two stereotypical takes on the British people.
Go on.
One of there's 3, I think. You're either, if you're British to an American, you're either like Queen's English kind of British, like royalty,
or a Cockney,
or you're like a football hooligan running around causing trouble with fish and chips wrapped in a newspaper, or finally you're the kind of
because that's what hooligans
or if
do.
you're a rock star, you're a rock star or film director, you're sort of like the Mick Jagger type, talking a bit like this,
from
Dartford, and then going all high up like that, So you're those kind of 3. Which ones do I? I mean, I sound a bit like Mick Jagger, I suppose. Now again,
I kind of sound like
I'm going to droll.
If I had to pick anyone, it'd probably be like Mary Poppins, the Cockney out of that.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Oh, but fucking hell, he's not even. Yeah, Dick Van Dyke. That's one of the most famously one of the worst
slated Cockney accents.
Mary Poppins, Mary Poppins.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Stupid songy thing.
Yeah.
Hello, Bert. I love that film, even though it's really.
They're remaking. They're remaking Mary Poppins. They've got a new one coming out, and
it's a sequel, isn't it?
Is it a sequel? Is it
they
set
filmed
in
that behind
times?
The place where you and I frequently work, in the streets behind there. They were shooting it when we were at work there one day.
That makes sense. That would make a lot of sense.
It's a road that's very kind of old-fashioned, like a quaint and Victorian-looking, all cobbled, and it was lovely seeing them filming that. Mary Poppins.
So I don't sound like that.
I love to laugh. I like it when they laughed and they float around in the ceiling. That's wonderful. Friend of mine ate his pillow to bits. Okay, yeah.
Oh, that's the old man.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah, that's the old man. I don't know
Yeah. Do you want some more trivia thrown at you?
throw me some more trivia, man.
Lucas described R2 and 3PO as the Laurel and Hardy of space.
Yeah, I heard
That's his
that. Heard that
description.
one.
Harrison Ford was paid £10,000 for his performance in Star Wars Episode 4. I thought he took...
Well, the first one.
Yeah.
But
I thought
he didn't really have a leg to
a...
stand on because he wasn't really famous. He
was a
did
patron
one
decorator
film.
at that point.
He did one film. And what was that?
He was a
American
carpenter, I
Graffiti.
think.
But
yeah, that's
he
it.
He wasn't precisely, wasn't precisely.
Listen to this one. The communicator Qui-Gon Jinn uses is actually an altered Gillette Sensor XL women's razor. Yes, we knew about it. We've seen it.
Yeah.
I recognised it.
Yeah.
My mum's razor. Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader meets 6 of the 9 diagnostic criteria for borderline personality disorder, which is one more than what is required to make the diagnosis. So
he's a total
amazing.
psychopath. Right.
After Padme dies, she is returned to Naboo for burial. Her body has been altered to make it appear like she was still pregnant.
Yeah, I knew that.
This is all part of the ruse to keep the existence of Leia and Luke a secret.
Yeah, it's facts, mate.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
of course she is. In Revenge of the Sith, she's still got a massive bump, and she's wearing she's wearing the necklace that Anakin carved her.
Right.
When he was a boy as well. So she's kept
Right.
it all that
I've never
time.
paid attention to that. Maybe I'll look out for that when we watch the Revenge of the Sith, when we record our commentary for that. Harrison Ford and Fisher had an affair at the time of making A New Hope. We do know this. Ford was married at the time. Carrie Fisher, 153 centimetres, often had to stand on a box while filming with Harrison Ford, 185 centimetres, so she was caught in the shot. I did not know that.
That's some trivia and a half right there. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Luke and Wedge Antilles are the only pilots of Rogue Squadron to survive all 3 movies. Did know that. Yoda's species has never been named. A mystery it is. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. And Gary Kurtz, the original producer of Return of the Jedi, said that in the early story outline, Han Solo dies and the rebel forces are left in tatters. This is in Return of the Jedi, with Luke disappearing into the wilderness. But George Lucas thought killing off the main character would hurt toy sales, so he changed the ending to a big Ewok party.
Brilliant. So, some decent
It was meant to end with Luke disappearing.
Thanks.
It was meant to end with Luke disappearing into the forest. I mean, that and like vanishing and wandering off. Wow, that would have married up so nicely with The Force Awakens.
It would have done.
If only Gary Kurtz could have had his way. I love Gary Kurtz. He's just everything he fucking touches is gold. And it was a real shame he wasn't involved with Jedi, probably for that reason. Had disagreements.
Do you think that would have been
That's
a downer,
amazing.
though? Or do you think that would have been that sounds like it's written with a sequel in mind, that ending.
Yeah, it sounds like a it sounds like a somber ending to the film. I mean, that sounds lovely. I like the idea of Luke having killed his father, coping with that kind of grief and remorse, wanders off into the forest.
He didn't really kill his father. Did he kill his father? Can you say he killed his dad? Do you think he?
True. He didn't really. He disarmed his dad.
That ultimately killed him, or
Well, Vader's like wheezing when he falls over after his hand gets cut off. So he's already obviously sustained some kinds of injuries. But it's weird. I've never really thought about it.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't kill his father. No, thank you, Matt. Thank you very much for sending us those. If you want to get in touch, guys, with anything that you want us to talk about or think we should be discussing, please do. It's always good to have suggestions.
It's an interesting subject, actually. And the older I get, the more I think about those issues running throughout Star Wars, and it nags at me. It really nags at me. Like, Leia has witnessed the entire planet blowing up, her home blowing up.
Yeah, we discussed this in the commentaries, didn't we?
Seems pretty chilled out about the whole situation afterwards. I assume she's gone to some sort of therapy. in between episode 4 and 5. I'd like to see a comic of Leia going through therapy, like a really dark sort
in
of...
the Rebel base. Like, in the Rebel base, there's like a sofa,
she's like,
a psychiatrist, freezing cold.
She's going through some real like stuff, and then Luke as well. He's going through all this stuff. He finds out that he's got a sister, and it's Leia, and he's like, "What?" And then his dad's Darth Vader. He reacts a little bit, again, a little bit chilled out for my liking, smiling at the end during the Ewok party. So it's there's some, I don't know, that sort of thing bugs me, but. I'm
looking forward to watching those commentaries with you about doing commentaries for the Ewok films.
Oh man, can't wait! Everyone cannot wait.
Can we talk about what?
Rose Tico. There's a new Rose Tico image, and I'm going to talk about it for a few reasons.
Yeah.
So we've seen Rose in a couple of scenarios. One talking with Finn. I guess on one of the big Star Destroyers, or not the Star Destroyers, but she's dressed up in
officer's uniform.
Officer's uniform for the First Order. It might be a Star Destroyer, I don't know. But there's a new image that's come out of her and Finn, and she's sitting in a big red chair, and she looks like she's really concentrating on something. I can only assume it's some sort of shooting at something. But there's a few things that I want to pick out on this. I think this is a scene from the Bleeding Planet. I can never remember the name of it. People are screaming at me now. And I think they're in those ski speeders. And I don't know whether you can see this. Have you seen it?
No, I've not seen it.
Okay.
I've not seen what you're describing.
Right. She's wearing something round her neck, and it's a necklace that's sort of it looks like a moon sort of carved necklace thing, really.
Right.
But there's a quote below, and she's saying that object is sort of pulled towards throughout the film, and it's like zoomed in on a lot of the time, and it's really, really a powerful object. It's representative of more than the object of itself to her. So she can't say much more, but that necklace and that moon shape has got a massive, massive influence on the film, on the story, on her as a character.
Okay.
And I've not seen that before. I just thought that's something pretty interesting, because I don't know what her backstory is, where she comes from, any of that.
Well, we're not supposed to until we see the film.
No.
So...
But yeah, no.
It's obviously got quite a main part in this movie.
Well, I think, if there's one thing that a Star Wars film needs, it's a bit of romance. And I reckon these two are going to get it on.
No, I reckon that Poe and Finn should rightly get it on. And
what do you mean rightly get it on?
She should be trying to get it on with him all the way through the film. At the end, Finn goes, "Sorry, love. You just ain't my type." And he turns around and he grabs Poe, and they have a big sloppy wet kiss. That's how the film ends. That's how it ends.
We'll see. And
I want that to happen, G, just to upset you.
Oh no, I'm not upset about it. I'm just saying
your theory.
I'm just saying the theory is. But otherwise, what's the point of her? Like,
and then Daisy Ridley grabs the hand of Rose and goes,
"All right,
I swing."
No. What I'd like is like, you think that scene where
something horrible.
That scene where Rey's shaking, but in being levitated off the ground by Snoke, and he just walks up to her and starts, caressing, and then she goes, "Oh, hang on, hello."
Harvey Weinstein didn't produce this film, did he? That's the sort of thing that would have happened. I think maybe Snoke might be Harvey Weinstein. He's got the dressing gown. I mean, he seems like the kind of person that would make sexual advances towards women.
Come into my throne room. Why are you wearing a gold dressing gown, Snoke?
Yeah. Do you want to give me a massage?
Do you want to give me a massage? No. Well, okay. Here's some false lightning. All weird. All very weird.
I was talking with some friends about Star Wars, and something that I mean, it just slightly is annoying me. I've not really thought about it before. But you know Snoke, right? He looks like a horrible, evil old man. So, do the people working for the First Order look at him and then ask themselves, fucking hell, that's our leader. We must be the bad guys. Because, like, he looks evil and old, right?
No, but they don't.
And also,
Go on.
the other thing is, why in every Star Wars series does there need to be an old man in charge of the baddies? Why does it have to be another old man in a dressing gown?
Because
Could they not have been slightly more original and had, like, maybe a load of senior Imperial officers bickering as a kind of, like the Soviet Union almost?
Okay,
As
so
the
let me
villains.
answer those two. Let me answer those two very well put questions, and then I like the idea that you've just had there. One, I think Snoke is Snoke looks evil because he's just broken. He doesn't look evil. He just looks like an old broken man. He's clearly seen a lot of stuff. I don't know how much the Imperial officers of the First Order or the troops actually get to see much of Snoke. It's not like he's on parade like the Emperor was. I imagine him as maybe this just elusive figure that everyone sort of hears about. Maybe if he worked for the First Order. But you've got to remember these. Do
you think there's like images of someone that isn't him?
Possibly, but
like Big Brother type images. It's actually this crooked old man.
Well, if you read Across the Stars, that's what people thought of the Emperor. They didn't, the propaganda that went out. He was still Palpatine, as you see in Episode 1 and 2. He was still that kind-looking old man, and that was the propaganda that went out. And his disfigurement wasn't well publicised. And then it gets to a scene on the Death Star, and one of the main characters is lining up in that amongst the troops on the Death Star, waiting for the Emperor to arrive. And the Emperor arrives, and then there's this sort of ripple of shock among the troops. When the Emperor walks down the platform, they just see an old decrepit man and the thing that the main character says in that book is the thing that really hit her was his evil cackle laugh. And she questions exactly that in the book. Oh, am I working for someone that's not all quite right? But I think you got to remember, in the First Order, they're indoctrinated from a young age. You know that scene where they're looking at Finn's files, and you can see there's a hologram of him as a child.
Like a child,
so they're indoctrinated. They believe in the propaganda, not the person. They believe in the message, not the person. So that's what I reckon with that. In terms of him being old, to answer your second question, I think you need it. I think the reason that Star Wars worked originally was because you had two old people that you believed in. If old people believe in it, then there's some gravitas there. You've got Alec Guinness and you've got Peter Cushing, and you buy into that the weight of their acting. Now that's acting. We're talking CGI here, but I think you need that gravitas of someone that's seen it, been through a load of stuff, all of that. Because you look at General Hux, I don't buy into that character at all. He just feels like a little rich kid that's just moaning all the time. You could say the same about Anakin in the prequels. He's just a sulky kid. Like, he's not a real villain. He hasn't seen stuff. He's just sulking. So, the age thing I think is important because he's been through a lot. He's seen enough to you should know better, right, when you're older. Yeah. But unfortunately, some people don't. And I think this is the same with Snoke. Whoever he is, he's 1,000 years old. And he's, unless he's gone mental in his old age, doolally, suffering from dementia. I don't know.
Perhaps. He speaks very slowly as well. There's a scene in The Force Awakens where he goes, "If what you say about this scavenger is true, bring her to me." And and it's a bit too much, and you're thinking. So that was a bit overplayed. Yeah, it's just really. I hope he doesn't do that a lot through The Force Awakens, because maybe that's why it's a 2.5 hour film. It's all his dialogue.
Yeah, he's just
spaced out.
Elongating every word. So that's kind of my response to that. But what I like about what you said there, and I'll tie this back to that book again, is that it ends with all these old Empire generals all fly out to this specific point in the middle of deep space, and they all regroup there. And the Emperor's dead, and they're all kind of like trying to gather and say, well, what do we do now? And I like the idea of that you don't have this one sort of pinnacle point of evil dictating, but you've got this sort of old, cynical, pretty annoyed, group of generals just trying to fight for what they believed in, what they witnessed their friends die for, and all of this sort of stuff. I talk like this like it's real life. It's just a film. I get way too emotional. I would have preferred it if the people ruling the First Order were actually a load of disenfranchised old generals. Maybe some of them like from the old trilogy as well. And characters as strongly written as Director Krennic, that kind of those kind of characters, all feuding and bickering and backstabbing each other, and then Kylo Ren's there trying to keep them all in order, type thing. He's kind of like an evil prince. That would be cool if there was that sort of head at the top of the First Order, rather than like a cloaked figure, sitting in the throne room. I think that's all we've seen that before. I just really don't want these movies to be a rehash of what's gone before, Yeah, but it's too late now. I watched The Force Awakens recently, and there was a few things that seemed completely pointless from a character point of view. Hux, you just don't need him. You don't need Hux.
No, you don't.
You need to replace Hux with, like you say, an old general of the Empire that's got a reason to be
Actually,
there.
it wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be a bad idea to have an older woman.
Yeah.
In that situation, in fact, I'd like to see a bit more of a balance with that.
No, I think it goes
like
against
opposite to Leia almost.
I think you're going to get. I think you're going to get that in the Last Jedi with Laura Dern's character.
Yeah, because we were saying we think Laura Dern's a bit of. I don't trust
double
her.
Agent, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure, mate, and I'll tell you why. Because I think the Empire and all of what it stands for is so Nazi in its approach that. I think they're all just... They're
like the Nazis that escaped.
They're just all white
at the end of World War II, and they're all fucked off to Argentina.
And they're not alien. And that's their principles, and that's why they're
like
so
master
bad.
Race
That's
thing.
They're the bad guys, and that's what they believe in. So and you got to have that as a point of differentiation between the Empire and the Rebels, where the Rebels have got aliens and the Rebels have got women, and different races, and they're just like. They're the good guys through those basic principles.
True. There aren't really many races in the Empire. You don't see all types of aliens.
Talking of the good guys, I think we talked about this before, but there's this sitcom, or there was this sort of it's a sitcom. It's not a sitcom. It's just basically a bunch of comedy sketch shows by Mitchell and Webb, and they're sitting in. It's the Second World War, and they're Nazis, and they've got the uniforms on, and they're sitting around this sort of campfire thing. And he turns to him and he goes, Schmidt. And he goes, yeah. He goes, can I ask you a question? And he goes, yeah. And he points to the skull and crossbones on his Nazi hat.
Yeah.
And he goes, are we the bad guys? And it's just like, actually, when you break it down into that, yeah, you are. Why would you have a skull and crossbones on your... Maybe it was an intimidation sort of...
Hugo Boss.
Yeah, Hugo Boss designed the Nazi uniforms.
Did you hear about the news from America about US cinemas refusing to show Last Jedi?
Yeah, no. Now you mention it, I did see something on this, but I don't know why. I think you might have texted me, and I didn't.
So basically, Disney have put forward some requirements for how tickets are handled and profits from tickets are distributed for American cinemas. And basically it means that about 65-70% of the ticket sale has to go to Disney. And the smaller chains, the other requirement is that The Last Jedi must occupy the biggest auditorium for 4 to 5 weeks in order to show the film. That's kind of like what cinemas have to do. And there are small independent chains of cinemas all over America in the rural parts who just simply can't afford to meet those requirements or to have The Last Jedi alone dedicated to one particular screening room for 4 to 5 weeks. So there's going to be a lot of cinemas around America which aren't going to be showing the movie.
So basically, a lot of people aren't going to see the film. Brilliant. Cheers.
Well,
Disney.
unless they travel to a big chain cinema where it won't be a problem. But I expect it's going to be a problem all over the world. I mean, in rural parts of England. But I guess there's chain cinemas at bowling alleys and whatever around in our areas.
Yeah.
But there are very few sort of independent cinemas left in the UK, and those that are left that aren't the sort of places that show the Star Wars films. They're showing like art films. So
yeah,
but it'd be strange.
My dad went to the cinema last night with my mum, and he said, he texted me. He said, I saw the new Star Wars trailer. So he's seen it big screen, and he said it was just mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing, and it was a big complex. It was a big screen complex. So I kind of feel like with these Star Wars films, you've got to kind of go all out. You've got to go and see it in a big screen anyway. You've got to go and have the opportunity to see it 3D. You can't.
Yeah, well, I'm not really a massive fan of 3D, but I'll go and see it on 3D because it's a big screen, I suppose. I wanted to sort of... I know it's been shot in IMAX. I've seen the size of the fucking cameras they've been lugging around, so I don't want to sort of see it in a different format,
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like if you're going to queue up for a ride at Fort Park or something, queue up to get on the front of the ride, not the back. Not the back.
Not the Johnny come latelys and the people covered in sick in the back.
Yeah, exactly.
So, final thing I wanted to talk about, by the way, buddy.
Go on.
Rag and Bone, a New York-based clothing company, are about to release. Not Rag and Bone Man, tell him to fuck off.
When you sent me that, I was like, what, was he done a Star Wars song?
After all.
I'm only human after all.
It's Adele with a beard. Right, so if you go...
Adele with a... No, it's not. It's not Adele
it's Adele with a beard. It's Adele with a beard, I promise you.
Nothing like poor Adele.
I'm only human after all.
What you're saying is they're not your A-list celebrity stereotype.
It's some bloke who should be selling salted beef down Brick Lane. He looks like he's walked out of like a Brick Lane bowling alley. He's got the tats, he's got the hat, he's got the big beehive beard, and he sounds like Adele, So check him out. Anyway,
wow! I'd love to have that on the back of his album. 5 stars, John Galantini. He looks like he should be saying salted beef. 5 stars, John. Go and check him out. What a recommendation!
Have a craft beer with that, please, mate. Pizza by the slice down at the Box Park.
Unbelievable.
I bet you any money. Next time you're in Shoreditch. Yeah. Walk around the street, see if you can spot Rag and Bone Man. I mean, there'll be loads of people who look exactly like him. So
hard to spot, to be honest.
Yeah. Listen, Rag and Bone Clothing is making a range of Star Wars inspired clothing, and I'm not talking about they're making a T-shirt with a picture of Darth Vader on it.
No, they're actually making next level high fashion.
It's like something they said the brief was to make Star Wars inspired clothing, but it's not meant to look like a costume, okay? And what they've decided to do is look at all the rebel base kind of stuff. They're looking at the Hoth stuff, and they're like going, right, loads of quilting, loads of lacing to sort of tighten up the fit and whatever. And they've got some really awesome footwear they've designed. They've also got some T-shirts. They've got an outfit that looks basically trousers, jacket, and it's very much inspired by Luke Skywalker's outfit from Empire Strikes Back. It's got the Rebel.
Mate, I've got to say, I'm looking at it now, and okay, you've got a T-shirt with a blatant X-wing on it. But what I will say is, you've got a nice set of T-shirts with just the sort of what are they called? The lozenges on over the pocket, and it's that's kind
little
of
details.
all you need. And
well, they've got a white T-shirt. It's got the back of on the back of the stormtroopers body plates. They've got like a circle and 2 lines, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they've done that on the back of one of the T-shirts. It's really subtle. It's like subtle, familiar hints of aspects of the costumes of Star Wars that you can wear. I mean, some of it's really far out.
Well, if you go to ragandbone.com, they've got a whole section dedicated to it. And
there's a great video about interviewing one of the guys who helped design the clothing range, and he talks about all the inspiration behind it and how he went about solving the problem of basically go to rag-bone.com/star-wars. There's a big YouTube video there. Do watch that. And they just basically go into detail about December. This. Yeah, obviously it's going to be. I expect a lot of that's going to sell out really quickly, and it will be quite expensive because they're very high end. So it's not like I don't know. It's not going to be in everyone's price range. Definitely a good idea for Christmas presents.
It's a funny thing, right? I'd rather buy a Star Wars T-shirt or a jumper that's just got blatant Star Wars on it that I'll wear to the cinema, or I'll wear occasionally just kick back in around the house. That's going to cost me £30 max. I love Star Wars, but man, I could not justify. I couldn't justify buying, £200 coat,
T-shirt, or whatever. Definitely. I reckon the trousers are probably the Luke Skywalker trousers are going to be about £400. The jacket's probably going to be about £300-400. It's going to be. Yeah. It's going to be very high end, But I just wanted to talk about the range because I think it's exciting. Price aside, I think it's an exciting thing to see.
Well, I like the
Star Wars
I like the T-shirt.
clothing.
I like the T-shirt. I must admit, the T-shirt. If that's cheap enough, I'd buy that. It's like the posies. I wanted to buy the posies, but I'm kind of a bit like.
Is it too in your face?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the shoes, and the shoes are nice. The Skywalker jacket's a bit
Star Wars.
There's a hoodie that I think you'd be able to pull off big time, mate.
Mate, are you watching the video?
Yeah.
Check your recording's still working then. If you play videos, it usually stops the recording.
No, it's working.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'll cut that.
I don't like the Star Wars the Luke Skywalker grey jacket. It's got the Rebel Alliance symbol. It's almost like that's too much like a costume. I love the jumper. The jumper's the best thing. The black jumper, and it's got the thing on over the pocket. The lozenges.
Yeah.
But on the back, it's got this nice. It's got the Stormtrooper backpack printed in sort of shiny vinyl on the back, which is quite subtle. And I think it's a sort of details. If you know, but it's not being silly about it.
Well, it's like that shirt I've got with a targeting computer on it, and people look at it, and they've recognised it, but they don't know where it's from.
Yeah,
and like proper Star Wars fans, they recognise that a mile off, but some people have just seen it from something. It's obviously struck them as familiar.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say all over it Star Wars or whatever. It's just a subtle design that comes from something,
Subtle design detail, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Well,
Is there anything else?
Well, I'd just like to say keep those lovely reviews coming in. They're all over iTunes. Thank you very much for those. We keep getting nice little things from our listeners, so thank you. Keep on liking and subscribing. If you subscribe, it really helps us because you don't have to keep on manually going and fetching all the episodes. They will automatically get downloaded and they'll be available on your phone or whatever you listen to our podcast on. That's on iTunes if you subscribe. And it helps us a little bit, really, when people look for Star Wars on iTunes. And we get higher up. And
the other thing is, look, we mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but there's some exciting times coming up with this. We got some good plans. We're going to be rolling those out in January. But before we even get there, what would be really great is just don't even share it, man. Just turn around to your mate at work and go,
hey, you're standing around the water cooler.
Yeah, you go,
hey, what's going on, guys?
I've
just heard a new Star Wars podcast.
And Star Wars, actually. Get involved, plug your headphones in, press play, treat yourself. Just tell people about it.
The friend says, that sounds great. How do I get involved?
Yeah.
And I'll go, well, you just tell your friends, and 2 friends tell their friends, and then 4 friends find out, and then 8 friends find out, and then 16 friends find out. You know,
what I like to do is go up to people's computers and download it for them. So forcibly grab their mouse and download it for them, and then plug it in their ears. Then there's no escape from the listening. So
they just turn it off after 1 minute. They hear us talking about filth in episode 1. And actually, to be fair, episode 1 was the cleanest episode we've ever done. This might be the cleanest episode we've ever done. It might be. But
I'm getting to
I better say something obscene now. Oh no, I did talk about Terance Stamp earlier. So yeah. I think we should do an episode where we bleep out all the swearing and it'll just be a load of beep 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 beep.
I'm sure we could. The shame I feel when I listen back to some of those commentary epluses where I've had a few beers, I've just smashed out about 200 swear words.
Let it go. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna be plugging Star Wars when we go and see Star Wars. We're gonna be up and down the queues at the cinema, handing out flyers. I think literally flyer bombing everybody with promo stuff. May as well. I mean, like, share the love. I guess that's what the goal is here, isn't it? Share the love.
Share the love, yeah, man. Spreading
the force, one person at a time.
Brilliant, that's our slogan. / tell your sister. Spreading
all right,
the
then,
force, one person at a time. It's not the 80s. Anyway, on that note,
I've been John Galantini.
I've been Duke, and we'll see you on the flip-flop later.
May the force be with you. Bye.
Bye.